In terms of asset creation, we're now completely done. This includes the sculpting, the retopology, all the fine details. Everything is ready to be turned into a displacement map, and it's ready to be turned into a baked texture file. So I've shown you how to do this in the other videos. I just want to show you how I do it, just so everything is clear. Also, I was a bit cheeky here. I painted in some quick eyebrows on him, because he looked a bit weird without them, and I just completely forgot. So I just did that really quickly between the videos. So I'll show you how I'm going to do it here. Essentially, we're just going to do exactly the same thing. We're going to export displacement, a color map, and we're going to export all the meshes. I'm going to do something which is, it's not a bit strange, it's just slightly unusual. Instead of exporting out the lowest level, I'm going to export out the second highest level. This just means there is more definition in the mesh, and the displacement map has to do less work. I generally prefer the displacement map to not do a whole lot of work and the mesh to do the most work. At some point though, you need the displacement map to take over, because you simply can't bring in too high poly versions here. But this here, which is about 10,000 polys, this is absolutely acceptable. And the higher the polygon count from ZBrushes, the less chance of you getting errors like UV seams in Modo will be. So make sure it's on the subdivision level 2. Then we're just going to export this out. This is the same thing, same way we've done before as well. So we're going to export out, only the head is going to be a subdivision level. No, actually all of them are going to be at subdivision level 2, at least the hair and the shirt here as well. The buttons and the buttons and the eyes are not going to be at subdivision level 2, but the rest is going to be at subdivision level 2. This is because I know there is a potential for UV, for seams in the displacement map in certain regions. And it also gives us more accurate representation in the viewport of what the mesh is going to look like. So go from top to bottom. Just so we're systematic about this. Lowest subdivision level, make sure there is no sculpting on this. Lowest level, disable export. Lowest level. Then we go to our project from ZBrush. I call this something which makes sense for you. For Modo 01. Li. Same thing here. Lowest level, export out. And the reason we're going to use the lowest level for this is this has no sculpting whatsoever. So we're just going to subdivide this in Modo. The head, level 2. And just hit export. Make sure group is off. Head. The hair as well. Let's see here. Actually, the hair can be at the lowest level. The hair is already 10,000 polys. We don't need this to be 40,000. So the hair, let's just leave that at subdivision level 1. Group and export. Shirt. Let's leave this at level. Let's say level 2 for this. Yeah, level 2. Because if you have a really low poly count, this is like 800 polys you can see here. It's really hard for the displacement map to do all the work. So we're just going to help it a little bit by having some subdivision on it. Disable group and export. And buttons as well. The buttons are not going to be subdivided at all or have any kind of sculpting on them. So we're simply going to leave them at the lowest level. Group. All right, so here are all our files now. Sort by type and just delete these guys here. Delete these guys there. All right, there we go. So let's just make sure. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. And then we have 6 here as well. So that's perfect. So that's all of them. For the displacement map, remember how I said you had to go to bake this based on level 1? That's true if you export level 1. As we exported level 2, we're going to now create the displacement map from level 2. Normally you would have level 1, but it just needs to match the subdivision level. Let's just review the settings first. First, displacement map, texture from Polypaint. Set this to 4K. Flip vertical. Map border set to maximum. We don't need switch morph target for this. I've explained this in the other video. Just make sure this is set to udim. We could also change its file format here. Honestly, it doesn't matter because we're going to convert this to a tile.exr file later on. So this doesn't matter at all. I would generally prefer to avoid TIFF files, but honestly, it doesn't matter. So just leave it like this. Subdivision 2, we don't need adaptive on because that's just gonna slow it down. Keep this is 0, mid level at 0, smooth UV is on. 3 channels, we don't need 3 channels. 32-bit we do need, absolutely do need. We also need subtools and merge maps on as well. And that's it. Well, as I said, we have another video on this where we go in depth into this. So we now have all the meshes saved out. Now we just hit create all maps. Again, put them in a logical place, which for me is under textures from ZBrush, and I call it maps04. And even if I make new maps, I never overwrite the old ones. That's important because you might screw something up in the future, and you really want to keep all the maps. Just click here, and then we just hit save with displacement and texture from Polypaint on. And like I said in the former video, don't touch the computer at this point. Just don't click anywhere. Just leave your pen on your tablet and just chill out. And we're going to resume the video once the extraction is complete. So that's all the maps exported. Like we did before as well, just in example videos, we're just going to rename them properly. So here are all our textures, and as before, we just have to rename them because this is really messy. So everything which has DM in it is a displacement map. Everything which has texture in it is a texture map. So we can just start renaming it right now. Normally you would have some kind of renamer for this, but as we don't, we're going to do it by hand. Let's just do all the disps first. We can just delete this as well. We don't need an eye displacement because there is no sculpting on it. So in this, the shirt as a displacement. The head definitely has a displacement. That seems to be it for displacement here. Then we can just call this col. Like we did before, we can just copy this. We can just copy this one over to 1006 and just flip it over. I'm not going to do it in this video here because I've already done it in a former video. Let's go here. So that's it. In the next video, we're going to, or next workflow video at least, we're going to take this into Modo.